Hey everybody, update time. So, a lot of what is going on right now, especially in the metals, gold and silver, and also a little bit in the British pound, it reminds me of a situation that I was in a couple of months ago with crude oil. I remember back then I was long crude, right? Market kept going down. I think I initially got long, I don't know, about $45 when it came off from all the way up at the highs back in May, which I called, by the way, but I bought on the dip and it kept going down. And it went 45, maybe even 46. I was long initially, I don't remember, but I think it was 45 and change, 45, 44, 43, 42, 41, 40, 39. It got into the 39 handle. I remember all along the way, people were screaming about, look at the supply, look at the supply. Every week when those Energy Information Administration numbers came out, every Wednesday, right? All the cockroaches, they were pointing to the supply as if there's only one variable that determines the price of crude oil. Sorry, everybody, just basic economics, supply and demand. And the whole time I was pointing to strong and rising demand. Okay? Number of indicators, net imports. I was looking at the crude spreads. I mean, there were a lot of things. Okay? I was looking at the fiscal flows at the time. That's all a function, spending and fiscal flows. It's all a part of aggregate demand. And it's just, those are all factors in this. I was saying that. I even had some guy, and I think I did a video on this, a stop loser. He may have even caused me to coin the phrase stop loser because he kept sending me these annoying emails. Where's your stop? You got to use stops. I read it in a book. Where's your stop? I would have stopped myself out and bought it at a lower. I think he did that right at the bottom, right? He eventually he canceled the free trial, which I was so happy. I don't like when people cancel. I like to build a community. When they cancel, and more often than not, the reasons they give to cancel are just total self-sabotage. You could see that they deny themselves anything good. It's not only that some of them are nibblers, they literally don't want themselves to prosper and to make money and to learn and to educate themselves and to inform themselves. But anyway, I digress on that. So what happened? We're at over $50 on crude. I'm still long crude, okay? So who's right? Now, I started this whole discussion by saying the gold thing seems very similar to me, all right? And there were even several times this year in the stock market when everybody, the cockroaches, were having a party, right? Stocks were going down. We heard people saying a new crash is going to come. It's going to be worse than the crash in 2007, 2008. Stock market just right up near all-time highs, right? So there you have it. Same thing that's going on in the metals right now. Also, British pound. By the way, two technical points that I want to bring out. And I sent this out to MMT Trader subscribers. I'll let you in on it. If you look at the open interest in gold, what has happened over the last, 9 days or so, since September 27th, last Tuesday until yesterday, so 8 days, you've had over a 60,000 contract decline in open interest in the futures market in gold. That equates to 60 million ounces, over 60 million of ounces of gold have been liquidated. So just think about that for a second. If somebody stepped up, and it really all happened in one day on Monday, that really thin day that it was Rosh Hashanah. What do you think would happen if somebody sold 60 million ounces into the market? Collapse. It's exactly what happened. But, those are weak longs who were all long at the top. People like Soros and Druckenheimer and Gundlach. All right? So that is a healthy thing. That is a good thing. Now, British pound. We've seen relentless selling in the British pound, despite the fact that we're actually seeing some better economic numbers and economic data coming out of the UK. If you look similarly at what has happened with British pound futures on the CME, where the speculative cohort, the speculative contingent is net short the British pound. In that same 8-day period from September 27th until now, that has gone up by another 25,000 contracts. So 25,000 new shorts have been added. Now, that equates to, get this, are you ready for that? Because each contract is 62,500 British pounds. That equates to nearly 1.6 billion worth of British pounds being sold short. Or if you want to put it in dollar terms, that's just under $2 billion worth of British pounds sold short in that period. Now, some might say, Mike, it's a Forex market. They trade $4 trillion a day. That's a drop in the bucket. Well, let me give you some perspective. A friend of mine works at a major bank, a Wall Street bank here in New York City, and they do a lot of Forex dealing at this bank, all right? It's a big thing for them. I asked my friend, I said, what is considered to be a big central bank intervention? If a central bank was going to intervene, let's say, what would be a big size intervention if they wanted to push exchange rates or keep peg an exchange rate, let's say? What would be a big size intervention? I asked him. He said $1 billion intervention would be a massive intervention by a central bank, which of course central banks have unlimited firepower, at least if they're selling their own currency, right? They could credit bank accounts to infinity with their own currency. So, but he's saying $1 billion would be massive. Usually they do it in 50 million or 100 million doses, right? So here are the speculators who are not unlimited in their capacity to sell. I mean, these are the finite finances selling $2 billion worth of British pounds in a week. All right, what do you think is going to happen? And they're not, by the way, they're not selling and being accommodated in any way by the Bank of England. The Bank of England hasn't done anything. All right, it's one thing if the Bank of England was going out there every day saying, hey, we're going to cut rates or we're going to cut rates. You know, they did it one time. So they're trading on hope and fear. What do you think happens to people who trade on hope and fear? Is that a good strategy? Does that work out? Think about it. Anyway, that's my little perspective for today. For now, be back later. Bye-bye.